It seems like the number one growth hack that I've been hearing from a lot of business owners these days is around content marketing and how they're creating content for their brand, whether it be professional studio quality content or unprofessional user-generated content from micro-influencers. It seems like no matter what it is, as long as they're creating content on a regular basis, then they're seeing sales come in, they're seeing the organic rankings increase, and overall their listing pages conversion rates increasing on Amazon and on their website. So if you're wanting to learn a few tips and strategies around content marketing and how to create content for your brand, then keep watching this video because I'm about to be talking with a guy named Drew from Marknology, and he's going to be sharing some tips and strategies that he implements when he's creating content for the different brands and clients that they manage inside their Amazon agency. A lot of the strategies that we'll be sharing in this video are around building relationships with shoppers, building trust, credibility, and authority. So if that sounds interesting to you, then stick around and let's go ahead and jump into it, starting with me telling you who I am, and then I'll introduce you to Drew. So real quick, if you don't know me, my name is Ian Smith and I run a creative agency that focuses on creating content for Amazon sellers. We create video, photo, and copy related content. Now the main goal of our content is to boost conversion rates. So what we're doing is we're taking product photo shoots, product video shoots, and then doing keyword research to revamp Amazon listings, build storefronts, and overall boost the conversion rate of Amazon product pages. So after we take some really high-res photos, then we'll edit those up into infographics with sales copy that's going to drive shoppers to make a purchase. We love creating videos that help our clients separate themselves from the competitors, and they're less than 45 seconds so that they can use them as PPC video ads in the search results, or they can use them on their listing or on their storefront. So if you want to rank higher on Amazon or you want to boost your listing pages conversion rates, your PPC ads perform way better, giving you a much better ROAS and better ACOS, then book a free consulting call with me by going to emaamz.com. All right, so now let's jump into the video and let me introduce you to Drew with Marknology. What's up, Drew? Thanks for jumping on this video with me, man.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so tell us, what do you do over at Marknology?
So Marknology is an Amazon brand accelerator. Just a cute word for, we launch brands, we grow brands, we scale brands. We've been in the Amazon space for about 8 years as a team, and we're very similar to Evolve Media. I know we have some differences, but in general, we love storytelling. We love helping brands bring that story to life, as well as very strong in regards to running ops, ads, supply chain, demand forecasting, essentially get brands profitable on Amazon, help them connect with customers and grow sales. And a lot of it's through content.
Okay, nice. Yeah, and we're big on content as well. We're rebranding ourselves as more of a creative agency focusing on video, photo, and copy. So that's really cool. So on this video, we wanted to talk about some UGC, user-generated content, if you don't know what UGC stands for, and why it's so great, why it's working so well. And the biggest thing with UGC is trying to be authentic and unprofessional with your content, because that seems to build more trust. So what's your thoughts on UGC?
Well, I think there's a few things going on. Obviously, with UGC, a lot of it is made for the platform that the consumer is on, so before, production would be like made in a studio, or you had to pay $10,000 a video for a brand video. These are made with like high-end cameras and videos. And so, it's delivered on Instagram, not in the form, not in like first person view, or like it's not made for Snapchat, or it's not made. So one, the UGC content typically consumed is made on the specific platforms that it's being seen on. I think another thing is that, we used to create for TV and TV ads, and like that's where video was really consumed. And now everyone has a creative device in their hand. Like, even in other third world countries, everyone has a phone, a smartphone, and it's just made all of us creators, which I think brings you out of, instead of having to need $10,000-$20,000 to make a video, it's now you can make this at home. And when that happens, now the people consuming it, I think there's this like feeling, this emotion of like, I distrust this more. Maybe it's not trust exactly, because you can do so many things with video even, but it's like, this isn't by a big company. I trust this person, or I trust this content in a way that's just, I think, almost subconscious.
Yeah, and when you have people around the world now having access to video and phones and internet, and what SpaceX is doing with Starlink, and how everybody around the world in very rural areas will have internet, like we're going to see a massive boom, I believe, with people creating content around the world. And what that means for brands is that that brands can now have regular Joes, folks out in the sticks, anybody that doesn't even have a following, they can be employed by a brand to create content for them. And then those brands that have that content, I feel like the more content you have as a brand, it's like the more salespeople you have, the more tools you have in your toolbox. When a video is shot vertically or portrait style versus landscape, I feel like it's even more trusting and more unprofessional because all the professional videos that are shot in the studio, like you were saying, they're shot landscape, but they're also not as trust building as the unprofessional videos with low budgets, bad lighting, low resolution, all that kind of stuff. It's really cool to see how those videos build so much more of a relationship with shoppers than these studio beautiful videos. And I'm a huge fan of studio beautiful videos, but when it comes to building relationships, it seems like selfie style portrait vertical videos do better. They perform better.
Much better. I definitely like watching first person view if I get the opportunity. I want it vertical on my screen. That's just a preference of mine.
Yeah.
I think really even take it one step further. I think what UGC is bringing to marketing and digital strategy and content is speed and quantity. So, if data is king and we're able to put out 100 videos with 100 different topics or 100 different attempts or A/B testing, or we covered this topic, or I did this style, or I tried this, we're able to put out so much more faster when it's not perfect, when it's just like user generated and you're just creating. And out of that come the best pieces of content that I think, the data shows these videos, you put out 100 and these 5 or these 10 did well. Let's look at those, create more stuff like that. And brands are getting, to the point or to the faster than if you put out a $10,000 brand video once a year, because that's what's in your budget. And I think so. It's a mixture of just like the authenticity piece as well as just getting to the data faster by putting out more stuff. And if you have one very if you think about this, not even 5-10 years ago, you used to have a pretty robust camera and a pretty robust laptop or phones couldn't even do it. So you had to have a processing machine that could really process high res video. And now we can do 4K on these Osmo Pockets and smart, the iPhone 13 Pro. And it's just it's a lot more quantity. And you're able to get things. Oh my God, I wish I had my rig here. Well, just pull it out. We're catching more moments. We're catching more authentic moments with teams and people and kids and families. And and that is just, I think it's just better.
Yeah. I think with the rollout of wearable technology, they've got these new glasses that haven't really caught on, but I think Ray-Ban partnered up with Facebook or something. And now you can put a camera in your glasses and stuff. And that's really cool and everything. A big mistake that a lot of brands are making right now is they're trying to go with the quality approach and they're trying their best to get out the best video possible, over perfecting the video, like you say, spending $10,000 on one video, when they should be taking the quantity approach, the shotgun approach, where they can do a lot of different split testing. They can create a lot of different, $10,000 could literally create 1,000 videos or more, potentially, right? Maybe 50 videos or 500.
Pushing that for years, right? Take one piece of pillar content and turn it into 100 or whatever. And not everyone can execute like Gary Vee's team, but he's saying you don't have to create 100 unique pieces of content. Create something great and get creative with the ways that you repurpose that content. And I think that is not everyone has to be there, but I think also let's all admit how many marketing videos or brand videos or product videos do you see where they might be spending $5,000 on the video on the Amazon listing, let's say, or $10,000 on the brand video, and they're going for the professional look and it doesn't hit the mark. Right. That's the thing. That's what happens. And so they're taking all that time to be perfect and they're not being perfect.
And I think it's
even
good
when they're trying to.
I think it's good to have a balance. Have those professional videos for your brand so that you do look professional and nice, but also have a whole ton of unprofessional videos so that the shoppers can use whatever they want to build that relationship with your brand. And you have more tools to overall sell with. You can put them all over your Amazon storefront, on your website, create compilation videos. Ultimately, you need to create enough content so that the customer can choose which one they want to resonate with the best, I feel like.
Yeah, and it's also trust. It's I want to see this from 10 different people. It's social proof, right?
Yeah.
There's that social proof factor. Because I'm with you. If you can create a professional video that also emotionally connects and is beautiful and it's got all the visuals and that's the home run. But most people can't and most teams can't. And in my opinion, there's very few teams that do an amazing job at that professional level, within budget. So then it becomes, if you can't deliver at like avatar quality, because that's what we're used to in the movies, and you're not delivering an avatar, skip that mediocre middle, and like, you know, the UGC way is the way to go. But on Amazon, just to relate it to anyone listening, like from my audience or the Amazon audience, you know, that's Amazon Live, that's the Amazon posts. You know, it doesn't have to be Instagram aesthetic. It can be like, you know, UGC content. And you see, like, let's say you see professional photos and content, well-written copy, you've got a great brand video there, and you scroll down and then you see like Amazon posts on the listing. And then maybe below that, you're seeing some user-generated video uploads of like open box videos, or like someone reviewing, you know, their recipe with it, or any number of things. It's like you're getting a lot of validation from a lot of different areas, and they're all content related. You know, they're all content related.
And also going back to what you were saying as far as what Gary Vee talks about in repurposing content, like you don't have to just stick within video, because sometimes people may not be able to consume your video. So taking screenshots from video and making photos out of them, and then putting those photos on your EBC content or on your storefront or on your website and landing page and things like that, you know, that's pretty easy. And you're now maximizing your video's lifespan and reach and ability to talk to people, right? But then also repurposing for copy and potentially figuring out how can I write a piece of content around this, and then coupling that with videos. So let's say that you have a blog, website, or somebody else's blog. You know, maybe you either pay or you figure out some kind of partnership with another blog website so that you can post a blog to their site. You can put in you can embed your different photos and videos on that page. And ultimately you're being able to show them multiple ways to consume your content. You got written, you got photo, and you got video. Because, you know, I personally will go to a lot of articles, you know, on big time news websites and stuff, and they'll have a video there, and I won't always watch it, right? Yeah. But I'll usually will consume the copy, especially if it's a blog and an article, and then like always the photos.
Yeah, I'm like always looking for quiet time personally. Like you know, whether it's podcasts or running this team or like, you know, even music. I love music. When I get to wanting to read about something outside of my industry or like look at products, I read. I want to read it. I want to be in the quiet and I want to consume it, you know. But what I've learned by being in this industry and doing this so long is like your opinion doesn't really matter. Like the way that you consume content doesn't matter. You need to just like throw that in the trash can, and you need to understand that there's so many different types of people that consume different types of content, right? And and then let the data talk and test and test and test and let the data talk to you and really tell you what's happening.
Well, and here's another little thing to remember for the brands watching out there. So you don't always want to make your content pitching and selling your products. You want to potentially piggyback off other content, you know, do a little bit of reaching and figure out ways of like, how far can I reach from my brand and our products to talk about this topic over here, but then potentially be able to loop it back over. Because I forget who it was. Maybe it was Grant Cardone, or actually maybe it was Russell Brunson in his third book, Traffic Secrets. But he talks about how you want to have like these different pillars of your content. So it's like if you want your brand to be known for family, and you want it to be known for food because maybe you're in the food space, and you want it to be known for, you know, maybe you guys like innovation and you like technology and you like where the world is going, or maybe you're about climate and green and stuff like that. You know, figure out a way to create content around those other pillars that you want your brand to be about. Create content and then try to loop it back to somehow relate to your brand in some way. But what that's going to do is people that are interested in climate change, when they're consuming content, you know, they don't think they're being sold to, but they're just looking into technology and new innovations and electric vehicles and all that. I mean, that's the stuff that I like, right? So if I was to cross over there, and then all of a sudden I somehow find this article that somehow loops over to like this skincare company or this food product or this XYZ, right? And they grab my attention, but they used this different topic as bait. That's a good way to kind of loop people in. But just remember that you don't always want to be salesy with your content. You got to build that relationship, get their ear, get their attention. That should be priority number one. Then number two, make them know about you. Don't even worry about them liking you. Polarization is really big and really powerful. If you get if you get some people to not like you, the people that are on that same page with you, they will like you even more. So try to polarize with your content and opinions, and don't be scared to voice your opinion with your content, but put this stuff out there, test around with it. And, you know, that's at least my thoughts. What do you think?
No, I actually love that. And I think it's, you know, it's test. And that's why I love e-commerce. I've never looked back. I just fell in love with it, was because there's this getting better part to it, right? You can always get better, can always optimize. You can always be testing something different. And that, you know, that's very true. I'll give like a personal story just to kind of relate it, with my own brand, Andrew Morgan's as a brand, you know, speaker, thought leader, et cetera. And then Marknology as a company, definitely had to learn how to come out of being a consultant consultant to like a team now and a company brand. And what do we want to be known for? I want to be known for our culture. I want to be known for our like innovation and like, our storytelling abilities and just like that we care. We're a family like owned company that's grown to what we are, but we started with like grassroots. And these are all the things I want to, if someone was like, what do you want to be known, your company to be known for? And then I want to be known as the best. I want like to be known as like family owned. And then I want to be the best in the Amazon industry. Like that's, and so you're like, okay, well, how do you convey that? Well, do you have a beautiful website? Do you have cute pictures? Do you have like, what does that look like? And was talking through like the girl that runs my website that's helped me with that. And I've had like 4 companies and like the girl I have now is absolutely amazing, but she was really pushing me to tell my story on there. Like as just an entrepreneur, as a person, as the family, like kind of put it out there. And I'm like, I don't know, like there's an insecurity about me a little bit that was like, well, I don't know if I want to say we're a family owned business or I like, I work with my sisters or just these things. I want to be seen as the best and will people think I'm the best, as a team, like if that's the thing. And so these insecurities we have, right? Well, I got pushed and I can do this for others. Like it's really easy for me to pull that out of you, but to do that for myself, right? And if you go to Marknology.com, go to the About Us or Our Story, we've got our story of like, how we found Amazon, like how we started building what we've built, like, our raised in Africa and just like some personal stuff, but also like, I'm being authentic and transparent and sharing like who we really are and what we do. And like also speaking to like, the company. And I get so many, I was super insecure about putting that stuff out there, but I got so many positive responses. And I feel like we actually attract the right brands that want to also do the same thing or like, bring their stories to life. So something that became, I want it to be polished and whatever. I got rid of that idea, got pushed by a consultant or, a branding content consultant to say, hey, like this is like your story. This is your value. Like really put this out there as a company. And I've just been very encouraged by like the feedback on it and, the results we get from putting it out there.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Vulnerability is definitely something that builds relationships with people. It's hard for me to do, to get vulnerable, but I know that it definitely brings people in closer. And then also polarity and polarizing, that's also something I've struggled with, but I want to get better at it. And this year, I'm trying to expand the kinds of content that I'm creating to do what I was saying as far as the different pillars and not just make all of my content about Amazon and selling on Amazon, try to make it about things that I love, family, camping, getting outside, space, technology, innovation, all that kind of fun stuff.
I think I have brands that not to interrupt. I think I have brands that have stayed with me as an agency because they know what mission I'm on personally as the founder. Like they know what I'm pursuing, like quality of life, family. I love travel. I love like, adding to my adventures and stories. And like, they know what I'm trying to build. I'm trying to build. Marknology is really an agency to build other brands, including my own. And when I share that with them, when they understand that about me, that vulnerability, that transparency, I feel like it allows them to like look past even other things at times to know like we're building together. And like, cause he's on the same, I know what journey he's on. I know what path he's on. I know who Andrew is, the person that's leading my company, because they're all hiring me to lead their companies in these ways, right? So it's like it really works out. It wouldn't have been something like I was someone kind of picked on as a kid, like as a teenager, different things like that. Being vulnerable was like not second nature to me. But something that like being in this business has really helped me with is, and this is something I'm focusing on, and I would love your thoughts on this, is like you talked about first, like you're like first get their ear, right? Like first get their ear or like entertain them or engage them or get their attention. I would even take it a step further to say that first you're like subconsciously trying to get them to emotionally connect to the photo, right? Maybe it's even a grotesque photo. Maybe it's a raunchy photo. Maybe it's like a cute kid. Maybe it's a cute puppy. There's this subconscious thing that happens before the logic brain starts making sense of the words and what they're seeing on the images, like as far as the text and like, and they see it and they're like engaged by it, entertained by it. They feel something. They might feel like you're saying it might be grotesque or they're repulsed by it. That can also be good, like you said, right? Or that's why they have all this clickbait stuff. That's like this crazy image in the search results or the crazy image on social media. You see it. You're like, what is it? You click on it. And the article is actually like the opposite of what you're seeing because they're talking about a bad thing or something like that. And why does that work? It's because emotionally they're connecting. Even if you're repulsed by it, it has your attention. And then now they bring the logic, which is like, hit them with the blog post about why the food's bad or why you should switch to these noodles or like, something like
clickbait.
That. Yeah.
Really?
Like, right. Yeah. But it's the reason clickbait works is that it grabs your attention and it makes you feel something.
Yeah.
And that's why they go to the crazy links with these like, email headers or like the titles, that have made the news crazy, fake news and whatnot. But true good marketing content can still do the same thing, which is pull you in and a good salesman, you don't even know you're being sold to. You feel like you're an idiot by not doing it when you're done like seeing the content or reading it or ingesting it. And you're like, if I don't buy that, I'm an idiot. Like, I think that's kind of what you feel. How do you feel about that emotional piece and like kind of like, how do you work with brands, or I just pick your mind, like, how do you work with brands to kind of bring that out in photos and content and stuff like that?
Well, we like to just be transparent. Mostly, like, we want the shopper to know exactly what they're getting. So we try to set the expectations accurately. So that's a balance between like the unprofessionalism that we talked about, but also just realistic photos and having like things in the photo to set scale and dimension so that they know, okay, it's going to be this size. This is all that's included. We're not going crazy with all the Photoshop work where we're removing every single imperfection and making it just like shine like this godly object. Like, we're trying to really just be accurate. And then as far as emotions, like that can be accomplished sometimes with just props, like kind of setting like a thing that ends up in your wallet or in your purse, putting it with other things like car keys and a watch or things like that just seem like a real life setting of like, oh, I just unloaded my pockets or my purse and here's the stuff on the counter there. So just trying to set like a real life stage and
like
everything
dimensions
like that.
And like, for food, like a great example would be like for makeups, like it's textures. Like, if you can bring that, like that's something that you feel in, cosmetics and things like that. It's like if you can make these photos look like there's texture or like, let's say with food, a lot of times it's instead of just the box, kind of like, let's say Amazon started with just like the box and the labeling and like, if you had 6 or 7 photos, you're doing a great job just to have 6 or 7 photos up. But now it's every one of those photos is actually like should tell the story of the product, just as if they're reading the text and understanding all of the features and what's included. The images themselves should do that so that they feel like I know exactly what I'm getting. I know what to expect. And the food part is like, if that food doesn't look delicious, if it doesn't look consumable, we haven't hit the mark. That's how I feel about it. Like pet food, whatever the taste is, if it's clothing, it's like you want, a good marketing, good segmented marketing is looking at a picture of a shirt, let's say this one. And for me, it would be like maybe seeing a Caucasian guy, right? And for my other friends, maybe, my roommate, maybe it's seeing an Asian guy in the shirt, right? And so that's how good you can get as a company or a brand, where when they see it, they emotionally picture themselves. I could look that good in this shirt. And it could be, I could see a picture of an Asian guy and be like, I can still look good in this shirt. Okay. Yeah. But it's much more emotional. Everyone thinks we're all humans and we think selfishly about ourselves.
Right.
And so you're picturing, even if you're buying as a gift, oh, I could see my girlfriend in that, or you're seeing yourself. And I think that that's an art, but I think that whenever you nail that, which comes from quantity and trying a lot of things, but when you nail that, it can be the difference in like a successful product, like specifically on Amazon or not. A lot of it really comes down to that content more than it is even the quality of the item or the exclusivity or the price point or anything like that. If you can, people will spend all kinds of money on the right thing if they feel like it's going to make their life better.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you big time, Drew, for jumping on this video with me, man, taking some time and, sharing some of your knowledge. If they want to catch up with you, meet up with you, talk on the phone with you, learn more about you, where can they go?
Okay. Before I jump into that, we're going to have you on Startup Hustle really soon. So would love to have your audience pop over there and hear me like kind of interview your story. And we'll get into some more topics that I think will be really great. So we're just sharing the podcast there at Startup Hustle. I drop episodes on Tuesdays, guys. I'm going to have Ian on the show. I'm super excited about that. Connecting with me, Marknology.com is our website. Obviously, our story is there. I kind of just shared that. We've got some content there. I've made actually a couple cool videos about our team and our customers on there. I would love people to consume. But LinkedIn, Instagram, email, Andrew Morgan's pretty easy to find. There aren't that many Morgans with an S out there. So you should be able to find me. I love connecting to people that care about this stuff. It doesn't have to be just straight business, but if you're a content creator or you're a brand or you're an agency, I would absolutely love to connect.
Awesome. Well, big thanks, Drew, for jumping on. Thanks you guys for watching. Hopefully you learned something new and we'll catch you in the next video.